homeboy Vern in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to the homie Tracy Lee, MC extraordinaire. Check out Glory, his new album, his new book. I got purchased that joint. That joint is ill, bro. He was on IG the other day, man. He was talking about the book. You know, it's basically like a decoded for his album. He got the lyrics in there. He's breaking down the album. And it's just, he goes in depth. I'm definitely got to show love. I definitely want one of those hoodies, them Glory hoodies, man. Shit's ill. But shout outs to the whole Apartment 5B, man. They showed us a lot of love. They had us on their podcast, talk about hip hop. Our favorite opening and closing lines of hip hop. So that was dope.
I meant to watch that.
To be a part of that. Shout out. Yeah, yo, bro, that episode is ill. If you love hip hop and you got a favorite opening lines, I meant to watch that. Yeah, man. Yeah,
you will be into that shit?
Or
yeah. Well, I'm not that deep. I know like the best opening and closing lines of hip hop, but I'm gonna definitely watch that because I was talking to my fiance the other day about how anytime I hear certain Jay-Z songs, I'm like, yo, be the one who broke this song down for me. It's certain song. I'm like, yo, I'll be in a call with B like, yo, you know what happened in this song? I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. I was listening to this song with you, and he'll just break it down for you randomly. And
really?
Oh.
So
yo, listen.
How old are you?
Listen.
I'm turning 32 in August.
So for you, it's like everything is just coded.
Leos.
Nah,
Leos. Yo.
No. It's certain stuff. Like I'll say prime example. When he's driving back from college, not a couple years ago, man, like now. And that's when what song just dropped? Actually, Watch the Throne just dropped. And he was breaking down Hove's verse about how Hove was talking about everybody else in the song. What song was that? Shit. What song was that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank
bad.
right now. Yeah. Me too. Oh, hold on. I'm about to get it right now. Hold on.
Damn.
But you know what song I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Why am I drawing a blank? What
do you mean he's talking
Welcome
about
to the
everyone?
jungle.
Yep, Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
And each line,
verse,
he's talking about each each rapper or lyricist, not even lyricist, each musician who's been through some shit basically. And Hov is describing them as himself basically as he's rapping it. And I'm just listening to the song like, oh, and B started breaking it down for him like, oh, I didn't even know this. And since then, I've started really like listening to real lyrics. I'm like, okay, because Hov be really talking, and it really be going over my head. Since then, I'm like, all right.
Yo.
I don't even think I noticed that for that song. I know he said Axl Rose, right? He's talking about Guns N' Roses.
He's talking about Lil Wayne in that song.
I didn't even hear him mention Lil
Eminem.
Wayne.
Yeah, Eminem. Yeah. He's talking about Prince, Mike, Big,
Mike
Pac, of course.
Jackson. Big. Yep.
I'm just thinking on top of my head. I can't think who else.
When I heard that verse, and I was just like, oh shit, like, cause you know I overanalyze everything Jay spits. So when I heard it though, and I was like, yo, and it went over a lot of people's heads because I put a lot of people on it. He was like, oh shit, bro, I didn't even correlate that. Like, he talked about Eminem, talked about Lil Wayne, talked about Michael Jackson, Biggie, Pac.
What's the lyric?
All of them in that.
We're gonna look it up.
Yeah, my dream. I got it right here. My dreams are big.
Okay.
Biggie. Reality is sick. Let off a clip from an automatic weapon through shots in the door. You know, Biggie. You know, the bullet holes in the door. I died in Vegas. Pac. Though I fought so hard, I knew I wouldn't make it. I'm a tortured soul. I live in disguise. Rest in peace to the leader of the Jackson 5. That's easily Michael Jackson. I died in my sleep. I'm still big pimping. talk about Pimp
C.
I bought at the mall, beginning of ending. Where the fuck is his son? It's been a while. Mama, look at your son. What happened to my smile? My tears are tattered, Wayne. My tears are tattered. My rag in my pocket. You know, Wayne's claiming blood. My rag in my pocket. I'm just looking for love. Looking for love is one of Wayne's songs. I know somebody got it. Pain. Weed for the low. Goddamn, I'm so high. Where the fuck did I go? I'm losing myself, Eminem. I'm losing myself. I'm stuck in the moment. Live for the moment is one of Eminem's songs. I look in the mirror. My only opponent. Where the fuck is the press? Where the fuck is the prez? Either they know I don't care. I'm fucking depressed. No crying in public. I'm just lying to judges, risking my life. I'm already dying, so fuck it. Yo, a lot of people, it went over a lot of people's heads. But if you know, like, he's talking about all these rappers that went through some shit, man. It was such an ill verse to me, but it went over, you know, it was just slept on. But yeah. And I remember breaking that down coming from Lincoln, driving him home from Lincoln. That shit. It's crazy.
And it was so simple. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even catch any of that.
Yeah, I didn't. To be honest, his flow was good on there, but that it was things like that he used to do that I used to catch it, and it was subtle, but it would be, oh wait, I would catch it way easier back in the day, and I always felt like he lost his step, whatever. But that was dope, like that was. But I still don't understand the correlation between all these people. Like, is people that he considers the best? Like, why mention these specific rappers?
Well, the song is called "Welcome to the Jungle." He's basically correlating, saying that the rap game or the industry is the jungle, and fame can lead you to do certain things, or just life in general can lead you to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they all went through that. You know, they went through some shit. They went through a cipher, and you know that's what it was, man. And I said this when we had the night when we went over the Jay-Z and MC Hustle song and the Nas joint. Jay says so much. It sounds so simple, but the skill of him saying less with saying more with less has been one of his illest things to me ever. Like, he can pocket so much in a few bars than a lot of MCs can do in this whole 16. Like, he can get his point across in a few bars than the most MCs can say in a whole verse. And that shit is ill to me, man. So
he doesn't waste a ball, basically. Like, he makes sure he uses every ball. Particularly, like, he makes sure he doesn't waste any ball. It's gonna be a ball to set up something else, or it's gonna ball he's talking about something in that ball. Either way.
Yeah.
I think that's where Jay and Big.
Wait, hold on.
Because it was crazy to hear that back in the day. It was like a rumor went on. They said Big thought Jay-Z was better than him.
Mm-hmm.
And like Little C's confirmed it. So because we used to watch back then, it was DVDs or, you know, tapes, and you would see it, especially after Biggie died. But I always felt like they had to have pushed each other, because I mean, for Big to feel like someone who's not even blown up yet, nobody really knows him. He just heard this song, and Jay-Z's been trying to come out, and then he finally like makes this breakthrough, and then he hears like, damn. There's a story where Jay-Z said Biggs called him, told him to meet him on Times Square, some shit, like it was beef.
Mm-hmm.
Sits him in the car, and he plays like Who Shot You for him, because he knows how serious Jay-Z would take it. And he's like, yo, they heard that and they thought it was over. Like, that's how that's how seriously they took it. I don't think he knew Biggie at the time.
Right.
And then eventually, you know, Clark Kent was the one who was telling him about Jay-Z, Big about Jay-Z. And it's just ill to hear about all that. And I would think the way that he was able to put so much in each ball was because of Biggie. And then Biggie saw Jay-Z was influenced by, like, damn, this guy's so witty. So when we were on the 5B podcast, I said that also, like, it's a shame that we missed out on that. Like, selfishly, we missed out on an album by those two dudes, because they were going to come out with an album together. So that was always ill to me. But
Like,
I didn't catch that verse though. I didn't even realize he did all that shit.
yeah, like even more collabs from them too. Like we missed out on a lot because of, and it's crazy how Big died so young. Like
Yeah,
it takes you to turn 24, like surpass that age. I think like 25, 24, 25. Like damn, Big and Pac died around this time, and you still feel young when you at that age. And to put out the kind of body of work that they did at that time
yeah,
is crazy.
yeah. Even thinking about it now, it's like they were
Yeah,
baby. They were
yeah.
baby, but they had it. They had a lot. They had a lot going on.
Like,
Did
there's
you
so much
guys?
potential.
Did you catch the Biggie documentary on Netflix? The new one?
I meant to watch it. I need to watch that soon. I was waiting for my fiance. I'm about to just watch her. I'm about to just watch it.
And I
I
don't
need
even be
to.
on Netflix like that. Like it's hard for me to watch movies and shit now because
Yeah.
it's not an interview. If it's not something about I'm not trying to watch it. But there was stuff that I did learn. Like it was, they didn't even talk about D-Rock catching the charge for Big. Like he took the gun charge. They got locked up together, and D-Rock was like, "Nah, it's my gun."
Yes.
They never talked about this. But they talked to the guy, the jazz musician that Big grew like was around Big's way. He was supposed to be a big time dude. They went back to Jamaica, talked to the grandmother, the couple summers that he spent out there. He saw the DJs in Jamaica, how they rock. All these little things that probably helped him out to understand music in his own way. It was ill. But I always get sad when I think of Big. Anyway, when we talk about Big, I get sad because it's like you said, he was so young and he kind of didn't want that problem. Like he was just, did I mention that already today? Like he was when Jay said he was in the car and they thought Big was soft. No. The same book. So they thought Big was soft because they were in a limo together, and Big was like, "Oh, I'm not going in there." In some club, and they were like, it was him and Tata. He was like, "Get out of here, we going in there." They got outside the car. That fucking limo pulled off with Big in it, and Jay was like, they kind of thought Big was soft for that. But years later, Jay-Z was like, he was on top of the game and he realized Big knew he had it. He's like, I ain't fucking it up from this asshole in the club. I'm good. I'm Big. Literally. So
yeah,
shit like that was like when he got shot and killed, he said, yo, he was depressed for 2 weeks because it was like, how did that same dude put himself in that position? Or, you start going through all the emotions. So it's just like, and if you ever read Biggie's last interview, it's fucked up. Like they asked him about Pac, he's like, man, he fucked up. Like, what you doing sitting in the passenger seat? Which is, I wouldn't be sitting in the passenger seat. It's that and the third. I'm like, oh, and the car ain't bulletproof or whatever it was. He said, I was like, yo, Big said that. Like to read that was insane.
Yeah.
So there's so much shit that it just almost had to happen. Like it was.
Yeah.
He spent 2 months in LA at that time, and he was probably comfortable.
Yeah, that's sad. I need to watch that though.
We were robbed, man. We were robbed of his presence, his talent, what he did for the game, what Big did in 3 years. A lot of artists can't say they did in a whole career. And, he's not even here no more. That run, what he did from 94 to 1997 is unreal. He wrote 2 albums, 2 solo albums. He wrote a whole album for Junior Mafia. He wrote a Little Kim album. All the guest features, R&B cuts, rap cuts is insane. And the impact he had on rap in that 3-year frame is incredible. What he did for the East Coast at that time, like we had Wu-Tang and we had Nas, but the West Coast was it. Dre and Snoop had shit on lock. When Big came on the scene, him and Puff, what they did with hip hop and how they took the game back to the East Coast was unprecedented. The way Puff, when we spoke about Puff, his impact and what they did to the game was unreal, man. And I like coming from Brooklyn, coming from close to the same neighborhood. I grew up in Crown Heights. You know, Z, he grew up in Bed-Stuy. Like, just, you know, the impact of Big was felt. And, you know what I mean? In our hood. Like, on Fulton Street. It was right there. It's in between Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy. Fulton is like the borderline between Crown Heights and Bed-Stuy. And when he passed, like, that parade, for his funeral going down Fulton Street was unreal, man. But what he did for New York and what he did for Brooklyn, like, it hurt. I remember that Sunday morning, like, getting up early that Sunday morning and hearing Angie Martinez on Hot 97 crying, and all these artists calling the radio station crying about Big. Like, it felt like you lost one of your friends. Like, that's how it felt. Even me being at that young age, like, in 97, I was like 13. I was like, 12, 13, something like that. And like that hurt, man. Like, my mother waking me up, like, Brad, like, Biggie died. Like, what? Like, what? Like, what?
Right.
Like, yo, Biggie, like, what you mean? Like, what? That was a moment. It's an unfortunate moment that we had to experience growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but man,
I don't know who to compare it.
Like, I felt like, I don't
know what we could compare it to. Like, that's a weird time. Like, Pac died and Big. It was, because just to put it in perspective, people forget that, like, Pac became big that year. Before that, Pac, before he died, like 96, it was like almost like a television show with him. Because before that, he was not in anybody's top 5. Like, I don't care what anybody says. You got to be an ill dude to say he was in your top 5 back then, because he wasn't that ill.
Yes,
like, he was all right, but he had hits. But then he went to jail. He was at all this shit. And if you said he was your favorite rapper, we'd be like, nigga, you know nothing about rap then. But then by the time All Eyez on Me came out,
you were lying.
Yeah, All Eyez on Me came out. Then he started the beef and everything. Now not all eyes were on him. No pun intended, or pun intended. But like, for him to become that big of a superstar at that time and then die, it was like, Mel always says it's like lightning in a bottle. So then now we were a little like, I don't think we thought Big was gonna die. We thought everything was over with Pac dying. But then when Big died, it was like, it's true. It was like your friend. It was like, it was a shock. There was a shock there. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you were shocked, because these are the biggest, especially around our age. I can't compare it. Like, it would be like Drake dying, God forbid.
Yeah.
Like Drake getting killed like, not even now. Drake dying like 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't even say that. This was, no doubt about it, Biggie was at that point, he became all right. He's in your top 5. You were mentioning Big in your conversation.
He was more than a lyricist at that time. Like, he became more than a lyricist.
Yeah, but he was a lyricist. We will argue that, but then, because the album didn't come out yet. There was a time period between Ready to Die and Life After Death, that people were still arguing the Raekwons of the world, Nas, Method Man. People were saying Ghostface, Prodigy. People were saying this back then. So it was a conversation. But then the death made it a little different, because what they spoke about was like that they were talking about dying, and then they both died. It's just the eerie thing. It almost feels like fate. I say that sometimes people think I'm weird, but it's like, yo, look at what Big was talking about. Like, you're tapped, because to be tapped into a zone where you're just not even writing shit down, and that's what comes out of that. You're in a trance. So you got to be careful what you're saying. And that's why I think Jay-Z was very careful what he was saying. He never really talked about dying like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who toyed and flirted with that, the 50 Cents of the world, they came close to it, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, for Pac to talk about that and Big talk about that, and they just be the biggest stars in the game and make the illest shit from in those 2 years. It's a weird thing to think about. 24, 25 years of babies. Yeah. It was weird, man. I never
thought about that. As far as how they always rapped about it, but other superstar rappers like Hove teetered the line, but they never jumped into I'ma die type of raps. And I never thought about that kind of situation or that kind of perspective into it.
I didn't. Yeah, because even Big seemed like such a happy. Like, everything you hear about him, he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the raps, is the total opposite, like this dark side. You would think he's the scary guy that can bring this devilish, like, grimacing. He was the fucking happiest dude alive, they said. Always cracking jokes and shit, but just had this other side to him. I wish he was alive to even ask him, like, yo, what the fuck were you thinking about back then? Really, like, I understand, but he was on some fuck you mode, like. So that's weird, man.
That was how he was felt. I mean, I'm kind of glad that on the documentary, when you see it, when you see it, like Big actually touches on that. Like he's like, he wasn't suicidal in real life. He's, that's the feeling he was feeling at that time. Like, what he was going through. We're ready to die. And like, we didn't hear anybody rapping like that or talking about suicide or shit like that. Like, when I die, fuck it, I want to go to hell because I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to fucking tell. Like, yo, hearing that back then, it was like, oh, like, this shit is taboo. Like, that shit was wild, bro. And now, and I love Ready to Die for that. I mean, I still have Life After Death as the better album, like the better of the two. But yo, it's crazy because when Big passed, he died on March 9th, which is coming up. I believe that's Tuesday, right? And like a few weeks later, the album Life After Death came out, and Hypnotize was out there already. Hypnotize was the first single. It was out. It was making its runs. The video was out there. It was making its runs, and it was big. And then when that happened, it was like, wow, man. It was like a punch in the stomach. And then to hear the actual album when it came out like 2 weeks later, we were all blown away. Like, we were like, fuck. Like, yo, you hear this? The first time I heard Somebody's Gotta Die and hearing Notorious Thugs and hearing Niggas Bleed, songs like that, and Sky's the Limit, you just felt hurt. Like, especially me, being from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn, like, yo, what happened, bro? And then hearing him and Jay on a song together again, well, I Love the Dough. Like, all, like, just being from Brooklyn and being close to that area. Being close to, in that area we grew up in, it was like, yo, damn, son, we were robbed. But the album was so ill. It was so ill, man. And I remember every car in Brooklyn playing that album, Life After Death. It was everywhere. It was not one person playing that album. We played that religiously. I remember, like, kicking the door, like, learning the lyrics for that, like, just, laughing at Player Hater. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just that album felt different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a different time, man. And Brooklyn was like, we were all mourning, but we were all celebrating at the same time, man. Like, even that day when they had the parade on Fulton, like, one dude, I think it's documented in the documentary, or just in general, like, one car started playing Hypnotize, and everybody in Brooklyn on Fulton Street at that time was just singing the lyrics. We all knew the lyrics already. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's an unfortunate moment, man, but it sticks with you. Like, where were you when Biggie passed? Like, what was going on with you when that happened? And, like, I remember that Sunday morning and waking up and hearing Hot 97 and hearing Angie Martinez going through it and hearing all these artists. It was just a sad time in hip hop, man. And, like, Pac, that was only a few months away. Pac passed in September. You know what I'm saying? Biggie died in March. Like, that was like, what?
It's like back to back.
Maybe less. Like, yeah, man. Like, it was crazy. It was insane, man. But Life After Death is one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, I think it's the greatest double disc album in hip hop.
Easily.
A lot of people would say All Eyes on Me, but I think easily. I think it's Life After Death, man. But I just miss Big, man. Shouts to Big, man. Rest in peace.
And it's crazy because I was watching. I don't know if y'all watch Hip Hop Uncovered on FX. It's on Hulu now too.
I want to watch it.
Yeah,
it's actually good, and I'm glad they didn't jump into it because I'm tired of hip hop documentaries always just jumping into Big and Tupac and just stopping like that's the only thing that happened in hip hop ever. But they dabbled into that, and they was saying how this is my first time learning about this for real. How it was really gang related for real.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they said Big and not Big.
No.
Yeah, they said Puff and Suge was arguing outside of JD's after party spot, and one of Puff's mans let up a shot. One of one of Suge's mans, OG Blood, end up getting killed, and that's what sparked everything from there. Yeah. Everything went downhill. They said if that never happened, Big and Pac would still be here, and it's crazy because Big and Pac is nowhere near that scene, and they the ones who actually had to reap the benefits, but they're the ones who suffered it.
Yeah. Well,
meanwhile,
there's a mix. There's a whole. I'm the biggest Pac fan ever, but he was a part of the instigation.
Yeah, of course he was. Because they said it trickled down because they ended up jumping whatchamacallit and all that. But still, but they said, but they said if JD never invited Puff and Suge into his party, none of this would ever happen. Like there'll been hip hop beef, but there wouldn't have been real street beef. That's what they say, and it's crazy because Big and Pac are the ones who ended up suffering. Meanwhile, Puff is reaping the benefits of everything that's going on, and well, Suge, he's going on.
You know who killed Puff's man? That's Wolf.
Yeah,
that's these dudes, BMF dudes killed him.
Yeah, they have.
I think the same club in the same spot that happened, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know it was gang related though. I thought it was just like some real hip hop beef.
Was only because that's why Puff and Big thought they were cool in LA because they were hanging with the Crips. Suge confirmed it. I was just shocked that Suge confirmed it before this because this guy actually went on. It's weird. At the time, we knew it was kind of obvious. Like Pac stomped this dude out. He was a Crip. Puff put a hit out on for the chain, for the death row chains or whatever. He the guy that took the death row chain was one they stomped out in the casino. Tupac really had no business stomping this dude out, but that guy was a real killer. He ends up shooting Pac in his uncle's car, but everybody in that car is dead. That shot Pac, except for the uncle who's Keefy D, and he ended up telling the story. Like that was the weirdest shit ever that he confessed it. I don't know if you heard that. Like he details it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's weird. And he ended up getting what's called like a proffer agreement where he's able to confess some shit like that and not get charged for it. And he explains what happened. And he even says, yo, Puff he owed me $1 million. And the dude Zip from uptown, I don't even know if I should be saying that. But he's
listen. Slow down.
He's dead. Zip is dead.
Yeah.
Like these dudes that's the whole story's out there already, bro. Like I thought it was weird to read it, and the cops had it right. Like you hear little Caesars on Drink Champs, and he said he was watching some documentary. He goes, "Yo, cops say wasn't too far off from what I heard. Everything they were saying is basically the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like Puff, what happened? And then TK Kirkland came out. You know what? It's all out there. To be honest with you, TK Kirkland came out on Vlad TV, and he said he used to live with Zip. It's
crazy.
Weird. Puff and Zip knew each other because Puff's pops was a gangster. So all these guys, like the guys that ended up shooting Pac in New York, these guys were all related because in the street they knew each other. They're older than Puff, obviously, because his father's involved. So they knew Zip. Zip's from uptown. Zip had a connection in LA with the Crips. So he was making money out there, and that's how he linked up Puff with the Crips to have protection for Big and for them when they go out there, so they thought they were good. Meanwhile, you're really kind of antagonizing these guys. If Pac just got shot 6-7 months ago, and he got shot by the same dude, so Suge and the Pyru Bloods will have every reason to go shoot at you. I forgot they said it was Pooch or whoever it was that was on Suge's side that killed Puff. But all the gangster dudes that we heard, that you hear about in the documentaries, we heard about them growing up from in Tut and Haitian Jack and everybody. Tupac shouted out. They ended up beefing with 50 Cent. Like those, they were in the street. Those names were there. It was prevalent. But
I just hope they stop, and then they hope they stop these Pac and Big documentaries. I hope the one they put on Netflix is Big's last doc. I heard it's great. I need to watch it. But unless the families are getting money for them, I think they need to stop them. Because I feel like everybody's just using them at this point.
Reaping the
it seems like it's a Pac and Big documentary every other day. I need to watch the one on Netflix. I heard that one's good.
Yeah, no, it's good. A lot of people on Twitter, a lot of hip hop Twitter, they were voicing their opinions on it. A lot of people didn't want to see another Big documentary, but there was footage on this one.
Yeah, I heard it's different.
I've never seen before. Yeah, it was perspectives I never heard from before, and like shouts to D-Rock and his camera, man. He recorded everything back in the day, and he gave a lot of footage that was unseen from prior. And his mom, Big's mom, was definitely involved. Ray said it before earlier. Like Big's grandmother was in the documentary. They went to Jamaica. His uncle, like the scene, the sound clashes, against the big sounds against each other back in Jamaica, or the battles back then. Like Big was, he got to see that, and Big growing up with the jazz musician on his block. Like a lot of, it's a lot of those things I didn't know about. So I mean, it was a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be the same shit." We what are they teaching us this time? Like it was things we already knew, but nah, I learned a few new things about Big. And listen, at the end of the day, it's hip hop, and you celebrating Big. I could never be against that. I don't care how many documentaries they put out. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn, and what Big meant for Brooklyn and for hip hop, it means a lot to me. So I was all for it. I didn't care if it was the same information as before. As long as his mom was down with it, his family was with it, his son is getting paid. That's all that matters to me, man. And I enjoyed the documentary. It was good. It was definitely good to see. If you love hip hop, definitely check it out.
If his family is getting like bread or some kind of residuals from every documentary that's getting put out, keep putting out 1 million of them then from Pac and Big's fam. But if like I saw, if they're gonna keep putting out documentaries and their family's not getting anything from it, I say stop them. But I heard this one is different and you learn more information. If I'm not learning anything new about Big in this one, I don't want to see it. But I heard this one is different. This one's great, so I'm feeling to watch this one. I'm probably watch it tomorrow, most likely.
I don't know what it is about them, but usually anything Pac related, I'm watching it. Usually anything Big related, I'm watching it. I don't know. So I guess it must be something. You know what I mean? They keep coming out with it, and I think they still tell Pac's story wrong. Like I wish I could write. I think I want to start working on that. Like the way I think he was like the most prepped person, superstar to ever be in the spotlight. Like if you listen to his interviews, he just says ridiculous shit that you could tell he was Trump back then. He was Tekashi. He was 50 Cent. He was a troll. He would know what to say to piss you off. He knew what to say to make you pay attention. So for him, like, there's an interview where he's talking about like he feels like he's a Shakespearean character. Like the media just uses him as this Tupac machine. And I'm just like, yo, that's what the fuck you were thinking about 22 years old, 23 years old. That's what the hell went through your head. He was raised by his mother was pregnant with him in jail. The Black Panthers teaching him, yo, this government, everything that that MAGA is talking about now, the Black Panthers were teaching each other back then about the government 60 years ago. So these are enlightened things where they tell them, listen, you're going to be targeted for your skin color, but you're up next because you're part of this fucking. I'm sorry. You're part of this group. You're part of a different kind of tribe here. This is a different group of people. These are Black Panthers is different level.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be self-educated, self-taught, prep for the real trick knowledge of the government. So he was already ready for the media. And there's no other rapper that I can think of that was prepped like he was, especially with the popularity that he had. So if you listen to, I don't know if you ever heard, there's a phone conversation he has with like a Crip dude, Monster Cody. And he breaks down like, yo, you were a gangbanger. You started off like that first, and now you're doing the politics shit. I started off political, but now I'm doing a gangbanging. We're both doing the same shit. Boom, boom, boom. I want to go to every city and just visit every gangster do that. I don't want to talk to the mayor. I want to talk to the gangster that's around there. We have a fucking softball game. See, like he just planned everything out. Prodigy had one of his books. I think E Moneybag, somebody gave him a book and he was reading it and he was saying, yo, you remind me of Pac. Everything you're talking about is structuring everything like a mafia. He wanted to get every gangster together like a black mafia. And he was like, if you listen to this last interview about Big, he was saying, yo, this is like a presidential election. I'm spanking him. It's that and the third. His mindset was a different level. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see them, pull through.
That's what I hate.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, he kind of he brought it onto himself. You're playing with the devil too much, man. Like the people he was playing with, it was part of his marketing scheme. Like, Tekashi did the same thing, but he didn't suffer the consequences. You know what I'm saying? This guy suffered the consequences. But he was playing with fire. And he got fucking burnt out. But it's you're right. I don't know why we just get so stuck on that. That was 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like why are we still watching that? Like it happened yesterday. Listen, do you have any artists like that for yourself?
What, that I'm stuck on?
Yeah, like us. I mean, you're only 6 years younger than me.
Nah, I think honestly, I think Big and Pac is the epitome of it. Like I keep saying, I don't want to see any more documentaries of them unless the family's getting some kind of residuals from it. But any Big and Pac documentary, I'm gonna watch it somehow, some way. I'm gonna watch it probably a year afterwards, or I'm gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the ball because with them is the potential, like what could have been from them. We know what we got from them, but it's like what could have been as far as Pac. I think he would have left rap and start going to like production and activism and all poetry, all that. Big would have been giving verses like how Hov do every once in a while, but Big would start focusing on Junior Mafia and bringing on his mans in them. So it would have been so much more of what could have been from them. I think that's why everybody's so stuck on them and so stuck on the documentaries, and they're just like the epitome of it. Damn, but me too, like I'm trying to turn 32 and I wasn't coherent, I'll say, when Big and Pac was killed, but I was around. I don't remember what happened, but I was there. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, in Bed-Stuy, so I was there when everything was going on. But everything, yeah, I think it's the potential of what could have been with them. Because nobody knows. Everybody keeps saying, yo, because how I look at Pac, I think Pac was ascended hip hop. He'll just say, all right, I'm done with rapping. I'm gonna focus on like how Nipsey started doing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll take it to a higher level than how Nipsey was going towards.
Yeah.
And even Nipsey was close. Nipsey, I think was like part of me feels like, yo, damn, so Nipsey was that close. And it still took like almost 25 years to have that next. Like I look at shit like that, like so almost like biblical, like 100 years from now, 300 years from now, there might be like a hip hop Bible, like on some real shit. And you see these passages of like what Black Americans have to go through to become this culture. Like, yeah, they're celebrities, but at the same time, shit, like these aren't just celebrities. These are words. These are like the songs and the verses and the lyrics they're touching. You read them. Dear Mama is like is ridiculous. Like we didn't even talk about the same way Big, the album came out 2 weeks later, Life After Death, after he died. Makaveli came out. This guy's on a cross. Picture that. I'm 13, 14, and I'm seeing this guy just died a month earlier, 2 months earlier, and now the next album cover I see is him on a cross.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's eerie. It's eerie.
Yeah.
It was eerie at that time. Like this is my piece. And I think I shared this with you, Ray. Like, being from Brooklyn, I love Big. But at that time as a kid, I loved Pac more. I just, the emotional aspect of his lyrics, his songs, it hit me differently at that time. And I love Big. I never took anything away from Big. I never hated Big. I love Big. But it was just something that gravitated me towards Pac at that time more so. And this is before his death. Because maybe it was, my mother loved Pac. And like just hearing Me Against the World, him going to jail at that time was just different. And it just felt different. And I related more to Pac at that time than I did Big. And it just, when he passed, when Makaveli dropped, like 2 months after, September, like that, it came out that November, the 7-8 Theory, it was just, and seeing that image, they had to put the disclaimer on the album cover, like, this is no way disrespect to Jesus Christ or, whatnot. But that album was just, it hit hard from beginning to end. And, but, when Big passed, no one, I gotta be honest, like, I didn't see, even when Big going to Cali and him touring and promoting the album, I didn't think Big was going to pass away, man. And I ain't know dudes was going to really do that to Big after Pac died. And, like, I think the Big death hit me worse than Pac's. I mean, Pac was, like, that was shocking, seeing my mother cry. And, like, just seeing people crying when Pac passed and watching BET Rap City, they're playing a marathon of Tupac videos. It was just different. You know what I'm saying? It was just different. And I don't know, man. It was just, that gap between both deaths was eerie. Like you said, it was just eerie. I don't know. It was a weird time in hip-hop, man, as a fan.
Damn. I don't know. This feels like a heavy conversation. It just end like that. But I don't know. Where you want to go, B? This feels weird having this Knicks thing.
I'll wrap this up, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
My man Z, so he does have the 2000 Golden State stamina. Pause. So B, bring it on home, brother.
Who, me?
Yo, listen.
No, B.
Shouts to my brother for coming on tonight, man. I appreciate you, bro, for coming talking about the Knicks. It was this was probably, I gotta be honest, man. This is probably, to me, this is probably the most special. This is the best podcast I think we had. Yeah, we had some dope joints, right? We got some joints in the floor that we even put out there. Yo, the fact that I'm sharing this moment with my brother, you on here tonight. We talking about the Knicks, talking about the Nets, All-Star Weekend. We talked about Big. We talked about Pac.